My mind's a diamond, I keep it shining. Forward motion, no rewinding, forward motion, I keep it shining. My mind's a diamond, I keep it shining. Forward motion, no rewinding, forward motion, I keep it shining. My mind's a diamond. Ain't fucking with me, man, ain't fucking with him. Then you ain't fucking with us, fucking with them. No, we ain't fucking with them. They fucking with you, now they fuck. There's really no one you can trust.
Hello, welcome to Real Talk with Elisha. And of course, my name is Elisha, and welcome to my show. I want to start by saying I'm not a therapist, so the things that I talk about tonight, or whenever I talk about things, is about my life experiences and what have I experienced or experiencing in my life. So, we're going to talk about a couple of things. I might have it short tonight, I'm not sure, depends on how I'm feeling. As you know, I do this show for therapy for me, and I try to hopefully help someone out there to let them know you're not alone facing certain things that you go on with your life. Tonight, I'm talking about control in different aspects of control. I'm talking about healing as far as yourself or anything else as far as you're healing from, and emotions. I'm talking about emotions, more about emotions because we as women, we're very emotional and we go through a lot. So those are the topics that I'm going to try to talk about. So we're going to talk about um, control. Okay, so control in a relationship. I'm gonna start with in a relationship because I think both parties have now this is just my opinion and my life experiences of what I've encountered, is I think people take certain gestures and certain things into a different way. I think I said this in a couple of shows before that a lot of us don't heal from our past relationships. And I'm going to say relationships because mainly we all have different type of relationships. Mothers, fathers, family. I'm going to say family. And then you have your significant other if you are in a relationship with someone. And I think a lot of people take control in a whole different level. You have I know I've seen a lot of women actually want to control a guy into basically telling him what to do, what not to do, how can he do it, stuff like that. Then you have some men that actually take that in the wrong way, depending on the situation. So I can't say every situation is what I'm saying right now. So every situation is different. So I'm just going to tell you experiences that I have noticed in control. And I've heard this a lot in my past that I am a controlling person. And when they say that, I kind of like go back to the things that I say to them. And I have to say that the things that I say to them is not controlling. And I think, well, from what I get is they take it the wrong way. And it depends on the situation. So I'm gonna give you an example. If I ask, hey, where you going? They take that as I'm being nosy or I am trying to find out where their whereabouts is. I think in both aspects of a man and a woman, I think as it's called courtesy. I think it's just a courtesy to know, hey, I'm leaving out, I'm going such and such place, I'll be back. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. That's not control. It's just being a courtesy to say, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. So that's one of the things that I've encountered that someone said that I was controlling because I would like to know where the whereabouts is. And it's not like, hey, what time you coming back? And things like that. It's more of, hey, courtesy to just let me know you're leaving out or you're going to be gone with the boys tonight. Things like that. So I really do think people take these things into a different aspect. I work for the courthouse, and I know that control could go in another way too, far as a lot of men get released under this thing called oh man, parole, in-house. Oh my god, I forgot, guys. I'm not in the brain part. In-house something. So basically, what that means is when you get released under that person that you're going to be living with. So that person has control over this person's life. So they have a bid, not a bid, a way of making them feel like they have control over their life, which in a way they do, but they use it nastily, and I'm gonna say nastily, because they have this thing of trying to tell the man he can't go somewhere, he can't do this because you're under my control. So if that makes sense to you, that's what I'm trying to explain. And I see this a lot at my job because it's a lot of women that comes up to the job and complain, and you have these men that's really trying, some men are trying to do what they need to do for themselves, and the women really don't want to see that. And it's unfortunate that I see a lot of that happening. Um, you have other people that thinks that control is by, hey, if you say certain things, like I wouldn't, I have learned, so let me rephrase that. I have learned to not try to make myself be controlling because I wouldn't want anybody to control me. And I think the control, people take it into a whole nother level in this world. And I swear to God, and it's in a whole nother state. I mean, you can't sit up here and do or say certain things to someone else and then expect the person to be okay with it if you're saying it to them, if that makes sense. I don't know. Doesn't make sense, right? So what I'm saying is people use this word control as it's a way of saying you control me because how my emotion is towards you. So some people use this thing as this control as a really bad thing, I think, and I don't understand why. When and this comes in with the emotions too, because emotions come in when if it's something you don't like and the person express it, you can't say it's control, and people think that is what it is, and that's not what it is. You know what I mean? I think if communication is a big thing in anybody relationship, family or otherwise, and a lot of us take these things in a whole different level, and it's to me is very confusing, and it's a misconception, I think, to be honest with you. Um, to control someone, you shouldn't want to do that because you just because some people or someone don't want to be with you, or I'm gonna really say this on more part of relationship because I have more experience in that, is that people really do think certain things that people do is controlling. Except for the part that I told you what I do at work is people, some women really control a man because they have papers on them, and that's really bad. That's one type of control. The other control is what I'm explaining is saying certain things and expecting someone to actually be okay with it. And if they're not okay with it, I think communication is the key to understand what the other person is feeling so you will understand that it's not a type of control. It's a type of, hey, I really didn't like that. And maybe wording it also may help also too. So I've been learning to try to word things, and it's becoming a little better. I know I have a lot of work to do, but I'm gonna tell you something. When you have a lot you're dealing with, as far as if you're in therapy, and if anyone is in therapy will understand what I'm saying, is you have a whole list that you're going down when you're healing, right? And you're trying to really knock each list down. So by the time you get to whatever point that you're trying to get on that list, it's like, excuse me, it's not enough. You know what I mean? So that's one of the controlling things that I was talking about is it's a misconception sometimes and a misunderstanding. And if we as people don't talk to each other about it, we wouldn't understand how the other person feels. And and I think a lot of people really don't like talking about how they feel, and especially when they have an emotion. I'm a very emotional person. I've already said that a couple of times. And especially when Mother Nature comes around, I'm an extra emotional. So it's like I'm learning to try to not be mean, not be rude, or come off as any type of bad person. Um, so it's been a very hard thing to do, but it's a learning process. It's a healing process, and it's a growth. So when you start thinking about control, that word triggers people, and I think that word has a lot to do with people traumas and a lot to do with people past relationships that they've been in, that they really think everybody else is going to do the same. And I've talked about this a lot, about how people, if you don't heal from your past relationships, I'm telling you, you take it into the next person, and that's not really fair. And I try my best not to do that, because every person is different. Everybody has a different flaw, and everybody has something that they have to offer. But people tend to actually always take the bad out of one situation and makes it into this big hoopla. And then you have a fight. And then you have a miscommunication. And then you misunderstand. And then everybody goes to a big drama. So that's just my insight on my life experiences, how I dealt with certain control situations, because I have been in that type of situation where one of my exes thought that I was controlling because maybe I just wanted to know where you're going to be at, and hey, shoot me a text, just let me know you're okay. You know, um, by me doing that also, I have been in that type of relationship where I used to mess with, well, back then we called it hustlers. I don't know what they call it now, but maybe drug dealers. I don't know. But that's what I used to be with back when I was in my 20s. And yeah, some guys really don't like that type of thing. And these men go through a lot, because you're looking at survival mode, you're looking at all these type of different type of modes. So of course, some of them are going to think that every woman is controlling because they want to know their whereabouts. Sometimes they take certain things wrong. Sometimes, and I'm gonna say some men. Let me correct myself, because I think I said some men. I hope I did, but I'm saying it again. Some men will do that, and some don't. Some will be very mindful. I'm gonna say mindful, or I'm gonna say courtesy. They do a courtesy. Hey, I'm going to hang out with the boys tonight. Just like I know I do. If I'm going out, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to hang out with my family. This is where I'm gonna be at. You could come if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. Um, if I go out with the girls, hey, I'm going to hang out with the girls tonight. Just for a couple of hours, I'll be back. That's just a courtesy thing, just to tell someone that that's what you're doing. And I don't think that's a type of control at all. And a lot of us do that. And I've seen a lot of my friends do that. And I always have to explain what I'm saying right now to them. It's, hey, you should just do a courtesy and just say where you're going, so the person wouldn't have these mind thoughts that they're going through, because every one of us have a trauma or have something that we're dealing with that is very hard for us to go on to the next person to expect something from them. So that's one of the controlling things that I had to address tonight, because I've seen a lot of people go through this, and I hear about it, and I've been through it, and I figured that it would be a good thing to talk about control. And it's more about controlling too, but I really don't want to sit on it too long, because like I said, it's good to let these things out. And if any one of you is going through it, shoot me a DM, let me know, or you could just go in the chat, talk, and we could talk about it. It's I would love anyone else's opinion on how you think control is, because at this time, a lot of us are being misread so bad because of other people's uh, traumas. I'm gonna say, because it's a lot of people that actually bring on forth other past relationships to other people, and it's not cool. And I don't think that's right for anybody to go through. And especially if you're trying to build something with yourself and within yourself, you want to be able to uh, not have that feeling inside of you to know that someone else is controlling you because of what they ask, or what they say. Um, that's mainly what I have about control, to be honest with you, because I really want to get to the part of healing. And uh, that was one of the questions actually was, how does the desire for control affect our relationships? And I think I answered that question, and I hope I did, because it affects a lot, and it makes a lot of tension, it makes a lot of resentment, and it makes a lot of uncomfortability between people. And that's when emotions come in, because men and women have different type of emotions. I think that certain type of men, I've noticed, um, let's call them street guys, uh, and y'all know what street guys are. They they tend to have their emotions a little different. They don't really communicate that well. I say, from my experiences, I think they have a communication. Their communication way is more of yelling, arguing, you know, getting mad. And I could be wrong. So I'm just going from my experience of how that is. So that is one of the things that is going on. I'm sorry, guys. My son is, yeah, it's a little talk. Anyway, so now I'm going to jump into healing. So I think I have a clip to start first, if I'm right. I'm going to start with this one. And I only want to play a couple of what she's going to say.
So there's this catchphrase making its rounds on social media, and it goes along the lines of catch flights, not feelings. Now, I understand that this is a fun, flippant way of saying focus on the good times, ignore the bad emotions, and so on. But it kind of reflects how we as a society deal with negative emotions. We try to run away from them, we avoid them, we suppress them, we distract ourselves from them. All of which, they're not really effective in the long term in helping us deal with our emotions. The fact is that no matter how hard we try, at some point those negative or those uncomfortable feelings do catch up with us. Instead of trying to run away from our feelings and avoiding them, what if we developed sound strategies to help us to deal with our emotions in an effective, constructive way? What if we used our emotions as a tool for transformation, as a tool for understanding ourselves and our relationships better? Not sure where to start.
I am so sorry. I'm sitting up here babbling and I was mute this whole time. So that clip was about guys that I was just saying about the men, and some men that they are they hold their emotions in, and you know it's hard, and it's I can't speak for men because I don't have when I have a man out here that I could talk to and they could just tell me about how that feels when it comes to that time. So far as my experiences with men and their emotions, some of them really don't understand how to uh, execute it. They don't know how to express it because they were taught survival mode. And I think personally from my experiences of the relationship, um, they tend to be very angry. And that's because they have a lot that they deal with. And a lot of them have a lot of trauma, just like everyone else. It's just that they don't really know how to uh, execute it. That's all. They don't know how to release it. They don't know how to express the emotion. And then when they do that, and someone sees, they're called soft or they're called a B because they're expressing their emotion. So it's a whole hoopla when some men have to go through, and it's very unfortunate, I have to say, um, when you're dealing with emotions and the emotions that you do with men and women. Women are very emotional creatures, and this is what we do. We have very different types, and the main one that I have really experienced on an everyday basis is the overwhelming, emotion. And I get overwhelmed all day, every day. And reason being is because if you have to really sit back and understand your emotions. And what I have been doing in therapy is writing down what my emotions are for that day, what made me feel that way, and then I could analyze it and figure out how to not be that way on a regular basis. So when I'm overwhelmed more every day is that being a single mom is the hardest thing I have ever dealt with in years. And doing everything on your own does get overwhelming. Being alone does get lonely. Uh, Lately, since I'm getting older now, the thing that's my emotion is that I get frustrated because, like, okay, take it. Like, I hear women say they don't need a man, and it's so crazy. This is one of my emotions that this is another emotion I really hate when some women say, and I said some, say that they don't need a man. And I'm an independent woman. I do what I need to do because that's my child. Um, women tend to some women tend to be very irate and such. I get frustrated when they say they don't need a man because it's like, how can you say that when we all do? I mean, you have men changing your tires because you got to go do that. You got to change your oil. You got to get sexual healing from them. Um, so how does it that you don't need a man? I think that perception is so wrong that people say, some women say that because to to be honest, I need a dude. Like, real talk, I need a guy, and I need someone around because it gets overwhelming at time, and then you don't have anybody to talk to. So it's like, okay, um, now what? You know, we're going to take a little commercial. I'll be right back.
Forte. Yeah.
Look, 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 look.
I mean,
Want to feel a little bit better today? My name is Kim and I'm a movement healer, and here's a somatic activated healing technique under the SOM method that combines movement, meditation, mantra, and breath to remove the emotional baggage in the body that is no longer serving us. Do it with me. I am stronger than my pain. I am stronger than my pain. Now you can do this move sitting down or standing up, and follow me for more somatic activated healing tips under the SOM.
And guess what? I'm doing that tonight because I like what she said, and I think it helps. That's what I'm going to do. So my last thing I'm going to talk about tonight is healing. And I've been talking about this for a while because I'm on a healing journey, as any one of you know if you watch my show. And this healing process, I'm gonna tell you, Very frustrating. Very frustrating. It's frustrating. It's lonely. It hurts. It is very emotional. Um, Sometimes being positive, it gets me down. Can you imagine that? Being positive gets you down. Yeah. Because I be trying so hard to be so positive in this healing process that I'm going through. And it really is a struggle. Healing, as far as like letting go, uh, meaning like what does it mean? What does it mean to let go, right? And then in the healing process, it's a doozy. I'm sorry, I didn't get to read that. What was the other comment? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought it was a question. Thank you, Miss Kia. Um, so the healing process is it's it's a lot, as you can see. It's a lot to deal with. When you're healing and you're trying to look, healing is not just letting go of someone. Healing is healing yourself from your old person that you're trying to get rid of, I'm gonna say. Because it's a lot to deal with. And then when you're dealing with other people, you don't want to bring all this pain and trauma to the next person. And at this point in my life of being 49 years old, excuse me, and I am 49, and it gets to me sometimes. The healing process is a little more, this journey to me right now is getting lonely. It's getting hard to deal with. And like I said, being positive is a very hard thing to do in this negative world that we live in. It's so much negativity. Everybody just wants to focus on the negative, the negative, the negative. Oh, you say something wrong to me, so I'm just gonna hold this anger all day, and then the next day act like nothing happened. It's so crazy how people manage to do that, and that part of healing is, and I get it. I get it. Maybe the next day, hey, it's a new day. We're going to get over it. We're going to just do it. But I personally learned from my experiences when you're going through something, it's best to talk about it that specific time, come up with a solution, and then move on. Rather than to harbor that anger and that hurt and that pain, to stifle it or put it in the back of your head, and then later down the line, you're attacking this person out of nowhere because you have that harbored inside you all this time. So it's like people, I am explaining how this healing process is because a lot of us really don't see how we as people should try to really focus on our healing and understand that we're not perfect people. Every one of us is dealing with something. And if you out here trying to heal from your traumas, from your pain, from your past, it's a lot to deal with. And if you're not in tune with other people's emotions or other people's uh, feelings, then you're always going to have drama. You're always going to have an argument. And you're always going to have something that is going to be a problem. And in this healing journey that I'm going through, dealing with the ex and dealing with the kids and dealing with my traumas, like I said, I have a whole list that I'm going down and I'm trying to check it off as much as I can. And it's so hard to maintain that and try to have a relationship at the same time. So that's why at this specific time, I understand why it's a lot of older women that are not in relationships. And I understand because when you get to this point, you're trying to heal from all this bad things that you've been through, even with relationships, and now you're trying to become a better person so you could be a better person for someone else. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to say all men are dogs. I could say that if I wanted to from the past experience that I've been through. But I wouldn't do that because each individual and each man is a different person and each one has a different character. And to answer your question in the chat, yes, I'm on a healing journey. I've been on a healing journey for a while now. And since I've been on this healing journey, I have lost friends. I have lost relationships. And it's been very tough. And especially when you have to deal with your own traumas and you're trying to heal from them, you have to understand that you're going to always have a downfall and you're always going to be by yourself dealing with this stuff. And if you don't have someone understanding that type of pain and struggles you're going through, they're always going to have something to say. And they're always going to find a way to make you look like something's wrong with you. Sometimes people even think that you're in a healing process and you don't want to be in a relationship. And they think, okay, so you on to another person. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think a lot of men and women don't like to see another person healing if they're not healing. And I've seen this and I've noticed that. And in this healing process, my ex would think that I have someone else because I don't want to be bothered and I don't want them to be in a relationship. And no matter how much that person would try to ask or want to be with me, I don't think I am capable of doing that at this moment anymore because one, you didn't show me you wanted me. And two, you didn't express yourself towards me. And then three, I think you have traumas that brings onto the relationship that you see me as this negative person, which if anyone knows me is I am way far from negative. And I try to motivate the person more than I would even try to down them. And that's a process that I'm going through of trying not to help anyone anymore. To be honest with you, I'm trying my best to be healing for myself because I can't help my kids. To be honest, I'm worried about my kids more than anything, and I can't help my kids if I can't heal for them. You know what I mean? I'm trying to lead by example. So whatever I preach is what I'm trying to lead by. I'm sorry. We had a couple of questions. It says, how do you cope through your healing process? Shit, I'm winging it. Yeah, I'm actually just winging it. I am really trying to wing it every day. I cope with my healing process. It's a struggle because you have people really do test you. You have people down on you. You have people saying you're weak. You have people saying, so many negative things about you, all because they either want you back or they just mad with themselves because they lost you. You know what I mean? That's how I deal with it. It's a struggle every day. Kia said, I think that when it comes to healing, you have to be okay with being yourself when you are going through so you can relearn yourself. Girl, I'm going to say this to you. It's been a struggle just trying to find myself. Like I said, these are the things I deal with, what I just said before I answered your question. Finding myself is the hardest thing I've ever been trying to do. Thank you, Terry. Yes, Terry knows me. I really try not to be negative at all. And any man that ever said that I always been negative or weak, I think they're the ones that's negative or weak. And I'm going to be honest with you on that. That's just it. And yes, I have to water myself. Listen, I'm trying to water myself. I think I'm doing a good job so far. The people that matters the most to me right now, because I'm not in a relationship, is that my kids. And if my kids could see me changing, then I'm doing my job. Because I need my children to see this in front of them to change the cycle of their kids going through this process. And if I could show them how to handle your emotions, how to handle situations and be positive no matter how bad it gets, then I have accomplished something in my life that I always wanted to do. So pouring into myself, I've been trying my best to do. I have been getting a lot of negative things from people, and I found myself not trying to fall into that realm of arguing and the drama. And let me tell you something, that is very hard to do when you're healing, because you're trying to help other people come out of the negativity, so they can see the positive in that negativity, and that's what I try to do. But sometimes that really doesn't really work, and at least you tried. That's all I can say. And it's a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a lot to deal with, and I've been trying to point myself a lot lately, and that's why I have less friends. I don't go out like I used to. The energy around around me right now with people, I can't stand. I don't want to talk to someone if they have this negative energy, no matter how much I try to turn it around to show them that it's a positive thing out of that. Um, the healing process is a journey, people, and that journey is hard, especially when you're trying to heal yourself. And other people will not like you because you're healing, and they're not. And a lot of them will say a lot of bad things about you. And all my life, all this time, I used to really, really start believing what people said about me. Words, I used words is a lot. And a lot of people say a lot of hurtful words. And a lot of people don't understand how words is really do cut deep. And sometimes it's hard for you to come back from something that people actually say to you. Like I said, I had someone say so much negative things about me because they were mad that I no longer want to be with you, and to call me weak and to call me a lot of different things. And all I ever was trying to do was just be positive and show you something different and show you love. I think people take that in the wrong way, and I don't think that's cool. And that's just my that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't want to go too long about it because, of course, you can see I'm getting emotional already about it, and I am going to start crying. So I'm not going to do that tonight. And I just want people to understand. I hope that something helped along the way, that you could understand that we all have to understand if we're going through any type of situations. Like I said, try not to be controlling. Sometimes people take controlling on a different level. Sometimes people take it the wrong way. Sometimes people take words the wrong way and think it's controlling. Sometimes people take someone's emotion and think it's controlling. That's what I try to touch on tonight. A lot of us really don't see how words can affect that when you could think it's controlling. Like I said, I've been trying to reword things and not come off as these things that people say. But I'm gonna tell you something, it's hard to do that. And I found out now the way I'm getting is like, okay, if a man has a problem with how I am emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, I don't think I would want to be in a relationship with anyone that doesn't see me for doing something good to them, or if I'm not of value to you by just being positive or trying to help you see something differently, I think that should be something of a value. A lot of us don't value people as we should anymore. A lot of people don't value uh, positivity. It's always negative. And a lot of people like to run with negativity than to take this positivity into consideration. Um, Thank you, Marcel. I appreciate it, Mr. Love. It's good to see you, fam. Well, I see you, but good to see you watching me. I appreciate it. Um, I just wanted to say something, to say that on control. As far as emotions, a lot of us have different type of emotions. A lot of us hide our emotions, and we tend to harbor them instead of trying to release it and trying to express it in ways people could understand you instead of the way you always do it. Because I found out when you do it your way, 9 out of 10 is not your way is not going to go right. You have to really try to do different ways of handling your emotions and figuring out which way is a good way to handle it. Um, this is just from my life experiences and my therapy, to be honest with you. And last but not least, healing. Please, people, I have stressed this so many times in so many different episodes of my show that we all should try to heal within ourselves and all the traumas that we deal with. Everything that we do in our past is a trigger if we don't heal from them. And triggers are very, very, they're there. And it's short fuse. And a trigger, you could say one thing or one word, and that will trigger that whole, just bring up everything in a whole rush to you. And then bam, you're in an argument, you know? And a lot of us do that. And I know I used to do it. And I used to get defensive like crazy. And I'm still working on being defensive. And I think I've came a long way in the last 2-3 years. I try to listen more of what the person's saying. Now, if they dogging me and telling me I'm weak and I would not, be out for nothing and no guy would want me and all these other things, then, it's a different story. And yes, triggers are so strong. Thank you for agreeing with me, Mr. Love. Yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. People really need to understand how triggers are. And oh Lord, don't let, if you're drinking, whoo, child, that's for disaster. You're going to have a disaster and you're going to have fights. You're going to have arguments. You're going to take it out on people you don't need to. This is from my life experience because I used to do it. And I have stopped drinking so much in the last maybe year. I literally stopped drinking liquor in the last year. And I am very proud of myself for that because I get teased. And when you drink, it really does bring up a lot of triggers. I'm not going to lie. It brings up a lot of emotions. It brings up a lot of your past, especially if you don't deal with these, if you don't heal from everything that you've been through. So my experience is I'm just sharing that, and I'm sharing the positive part of these things. Rise before I end the show. That's why we have to really watch what we do. Yes, it is, Mr. Love. Sometimes it can be people close to you as well. You have to cut the cord. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying that since I have been transitioning and healing and doing what I'm doing, a lot of people really don't want to be around me. And because I stopped drinking so much, even family, my family would tease me because we're from Trinidad. We drink a lot. And when we do shots, and then I'm going to just say this, when we do shots, my shots are not shots. My shots are these, I will put one ice block in the shot glass, and I would do a little just to quench your thirst, just a little tab, and they would die laughing with me, and they all with their shots. And it's so funny that they tease me, but at the end of the day, guess who's not drunk? Me. Guess who doesn't have a hangover? Me. And guess who's functioning? Me. So it's like, and then you cannot ever say, I was drunk and that's why I brought up something to argue with. And this is not just family. I used to do this a lot when I used to go out. So this is all when you drink, triggers come up. I mean, if you're not healed or trying to heal, this is what happens. So when you're healing, you get to understand stuff more. You get to understand why you was doing things. And in therapy, my therapy has been helping me so much understand. And that's why I had to stop the drinking so much. And it's so crazy. Mr. Lover, understand that. I understand a whole 100%. And you know I'm from a family of a lot. So not saying family are bad now. You know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to heal yourself. And you have to distance yourself from almost everybody. And like I was explaining earlier, I don't want to get in a relationship until I'm healed. And I may lose some people along the way. Um, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because the way I'm heading and the way my mindset is right now, I don't think anyone will want to be with me right now because I'm still healing. I don't want to bring any stress to someone. I don't want to bring any heartbreak. I don't want to bring hurt. I don't want to bring pain. I don't want to bring any negative triggers to anyone. So by me healing, I have reached to that point where dating to me is not even in my vocabulary. It's not even my focus at this time. And thank you, Mr. Love. I am trying. Trust me. Trust me. It hurts though. I'm gonna tell you that. You know, it's lonely. Like I said, I have been in. I always been in a relationship. You know, and to not be in one is a journey for me, and that healing process is a lot to deal with. And when you don't have other people understanding that process, and if they're not understanding themselves of how they need to heal from whatever they're dealing with, then you're always going to have a battle with each other. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying to hold this in. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it right now because it's triggering me. It's triggering me to cry. So I just hope I help someone tonight. The healing process is a lot. I just want you guys to understand that the control, the emotions, and the healing process. It takes time, and everything takes time, and is what you want for yourself. And if you want better for yourself, then that's all that matters. And to me, I want better for myself, and not just for myself. I want to lead by example for my children because I don't want my grandkids to do this cycle and to go through this process of this hurt that I've been through, the traumas that I've been through, the pain I've been through. So I don't want my grandkids to ever feel this emotional distress, I'm going to say. Thanks, Mr. Love. I know I appreciate that. I'm keeping my head up as much as I can, Mr. Love. And oh, happy birthday to your wife. She's an awesome lady from what I see on social media, and I'm happy things are going well for you, sir. And I really thank you for tuning in. I thank for everyone for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. I love when people come in the chat room and I could get to talk a little longer because I was really about to end it. And I really appreciate everyone that does that. You are appreciated more than you know. And I hope that I really help someone tonight because healing is really a lot of, it's a lot to deal with. So I just want you guys to know if you're on that healing journey, you got this, like Mr. Love said, and you can get through it. And watch out for them triggers because I'm telling you, it could end up in arguments and misunderstanding, and then you are standing there wondering what happened. So let's do that. So I want everybody to have a great week, and I want you guys to understand that no matter what negative things you're going through, there's always a positive somewhere along the way. You just got to believe it and see it, because sometimes we just don't. We're so stubborn to just always pick the negativity and the arguing and the fussing and the stress, and then rather not see it's something good that's happening to you that is negative. You know what I mean? I just want you guys to know that and see that. Thank you, Kia. I appreciate that you did. Let's all have a great positive week on purpose, please. And thank you for tuning into my show. I'll see you guys next week. Oh, wait. Tune into the Gag Order on Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern Time PM on Facebook, YouTube, and I think Twitch. Right. And thank you for Seven Sons Entertainment for producing my show tonight. I really appreciate it. I love this platform. I love what you do. And I appreciate the Seven Sons Entertainment for producing my show. And that's the shout out for you guys tonight. And tune in next week, Wednesday, and I'll see you guys at 8:30 Eastern Time. And thank you for tuning in.
You know that don't play like me. Something that your money won't.